Hi, this is Paul Santinello. Welcome to the Upside. I'm fighting a little cold right now, so please excuse if I'm taking a drink of water, but it's my show. I can do what I want anyway. With me today is my special guest, Jason Deaney. Jason is our Veteran Services Agent. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you very much.
What's the official title we gave you here in town?
Veteran Service Officer.
Officer,
yeah.
okay. Longmeadow had, for years, Peter Santos was our Veteran Services Officer. He was part-time, and the town was grandfathered into a state mandate, so we had to have a full-time Veteran Services Agent. And when Peter retired, our town was actually looking to possibly regionalize it with East Longmeadow. It didn't work out, and so we went and did our own search, and we came up with Jason as our Veteran Services Officer. Jason's responsibilities, we're going to talk about that today, what Jason does, how he is able to help you as a town resident, if you served in the military and families of the military, and how you get a hold of them. So, Jason, when did you start here in Longmeadow?
November 1st.
November 1st,
Yeah.
okay. And what's the role of the Veteran Services Officer in town? What are you charged with to do?
I get that question a lot. I think it's basically being a liaison for veterans and the federal, whatever federal has to offer, as well as state benefits.
And one of the things that in our discussions on the select board, we were talking about, and there's a lot of state mandates in government, and federal mandates, and, why do we need this? And, we went from part-time to full-time. Is there a need in a town this size and so forth? And what our research showed was, there is a need for something like this full-time, because there's also some mandates that say we really have to get out to the veterans as opposed to waiting for veterans to come to us.
Right.
And so what are some of the things that you're running into, or what are some of the things that you deal with people who served in the military? Do you deal with people who are currently in the military, or just those that are out of it?
If I deal with anybody that's in the military, it's somebody coming home from a deployment trying to get their welcome home bonus, state welcome home bonus.
Okay.
So I mean, the state of Massachusetts does offer that, but that's about it for people that are in the military.
In the military.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with people who are obviously out of it.
Yes, mostly Korean War vets and World War II veterans.
Okay. And what are some of the things that that they may not have been aware of, for example, that they qualified for, that you're able to bring to the table and say, hey, now let me go backwards. How are you finding these people? Because I know some people are calling up. You're based out of the Council on Aging.
Yep.
So for years, I know there's a once-a-month veterans meeting. I've attended it a few times, and sometimes they bring in guest speakers who are talking about their deployment. Sometimes they're bringing in someone from Northampton VA Hospital to say, here's some things you're eligible for. But what are some of the things that you're at the Council on Aging? What's a day like for you? Are you going out there calling people, or are they calling you, or both?
Well, I mean, when I do outreach, I do a lot of press releases. I find some information on the internet, or I go out there and I talk to veterans, veterans representatives from the VA, as well as, people on Main Street, Bond Street. They got the VA Medical Center over there. I talk to people on what they have to offer that, people don't know about, that I don't even know about. And I kind of do press releases on that, and we update the website. We just started updating the website a little bit. But that's about it for that.
But we have a lot of people, a lot of the veterans in town, and I'm sure they're going through day-to-day life that aren't aware that there are some things that they may be able to get help with, whether it's medical or I know some people had hearing issues in town, and they found that it was like they were so happy and relieved that there was actually some, because hearing aids are expensive and so forth, that there was some aid for them that they could go through and get that kind of help. So how do you go and find the people that need the services, or are you doing that at this point? Because I know we had a backlog there for a while.
Yeah, well, I did a big letter. I sent a letter out to pretty much every veteran and widow in Longmeadow. I think we sent out about 1,500 of them.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
I would have thought that. Okay.
Yeah, for the first couple months, the phone was off the hook. And
really?
Yeah.
So we have 1,500.
Yep.
We have a population of 15,000, but there's about 5,700 households in town.
Okay.
So about almost a third of our households have some sort of connection to the military.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I'm very surprised, because that was one of the things that we were talking about is in our town. And I understand, you have a generation of Korean War, World War II vets, but I think that our discussion was, and I never realized that we had that many people affected in town that were in the military. That's huge. Mm-hmm. All right, so you send out a letter, and so it's obviously not just for veterans; it's also for their widows. There's some
widows, spouses, dependents.
Okay,
they're all treated the same in most aspects of things.
And so that letter, 1,500 pieces of mail go out. What kind of response did you get?
Well, put it this way: my first month that I was in there, that I was in the office, I got about 15 walk-ins and phone calls. I did a count a month later after the letter came out, and it was I had over 120 something.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Okay, and that's on top of the things that Peter may have been working on already that you inherited and working with the groups that are out there now. So, what are some of the things that the families of veterans should realize, or the veterans themselves realize that you can help them with? What's some of the typical things?
Well,
or simple things.
One of the biggest ones that Massachusetts has to offer is called Chapter 115.
Okay.
And basically, it's something to do with if a widow or a veteran is not making enough money per month, then the Massachusetts will help them out and give them medical benefits and take care of co-pays and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Other things, we do a lot of locating discharge papers and just, getting people set up with the Holyoke Soldiers Home, trying to get the blue card, trying to get them enrolled in the VA healthcare system. And again, it is a lot of older generation, because the newer generation is coming out and they're being more educated. They're going through separation classes before they actually get out, and they're getting educated, so they actually know where to go.
Okay.
So the older guys, they come in, they have no idea because they weren't getting the help when they got out.
Right, and that's when I went to one of the veterans meetings, there was someone from Northampton, the VA hospital up there, and some of the questions that were coming out is these guys have been for years fighting for some sort of information or some help, and didn't realize it was actually there for them.
I know.
It was there for years, and so it helps relieve some of the expenses. And in a conversation with Mr. Bartlett here from LCTV, we talked about what combat veterans should be able to get, which is just about everything. So for what they do. So let me ask you. Let's turn the page a little bit. And you're a former Marine. Okay.
Oh, once a Marine, always a Marine. Got to get that right. Former active duty.
Former active duty Marine. See, he was ready to go for the bayonet and start slicing the dice in here. Pushed the wrong button there, folks. Sorry. So you are a Marine.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. When were you in the service? How long did you serve?
I did 4 years and just a little under 4 years, 4.5 years. I got extended involuntarily to go into Iraq, so we were the first wave in.
Were you?
Yes.
Now this was how long ago were you in Iraq?
Oh, geez, this was
the first Gulf War, correct? Or is it beginning of
March 03.
Of what we're just coming out of?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So you were the first wave in.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you see when you went there? Because you were the first. Well, let's go back. I'm not going to ask you any secrets, and we can talk off air about that. There's microphones on. No, but what did you see when you first went in? You said you were extended involuntarily.
Yes.
Okay, so that's when they say you're not leaving. They locked the door.
Yes.
Yes.
I was on a ship. I was on a Marine Expeditionary Unit.
That's a way to keep you there.
Yeah. I had nowhere to go. Yeah.
So it's a long swim home.
Yeah.
All right. So you're part of the initial wave into Iraq.
Yes.
Okay. How long were you in Iraq?
I was actually in Iraq for just about a month.
Okay.
Because we were doing missions in Iraq and Liberia between my whole battalion, because we had a battle fleet of I think 3 or 4 ships.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Now, were you based on a ship, or did you have a base in?
Well, it's called the Marine Expeditionary Unit. You're on a Navy ship, and you go out in battle fleets, and you just kind of patrol the world. And when they need you somewhere, they call you in, and
that's it. You're going.
Yeah, you're in.
Okay. And when did you get out of the military?
I got out shortly after. It was December 17th of 03.
Okay. And were you a veterans? I know you had experience in working with vets. What did you do before you came to Long Meadow?
Well, I was doing it as an internship in Springfield.
Okay.
At Springfield City Hall.
And they obviously, there's a greater number of vets in Springfield just because of the size of it. So you saw a lot of activity and a lot of things that our guys would be looking for, but maybe in a different scope. All right. So veteran, anybody who's watching this who's a vet or family of a vet, and is looking for information or potentially anything that they might need help with, how do they get a hold of you?
They could either email me Do you want me to give the information?
Yeah, if you give the information, and they're gonna Doug will put it up on the screen, so when this shows, all your information will be up there.
Okay. They could email me at jdeni, the letter J D-I-E-N-I @longmeadow.org, or you can call me at the Greenwood Center at 413-565-4150.
And if you have to, if you don't write that down or you can't get it, you can also just go up to the Council on Aging,
exactly.
and you're there, and they know how to get a hold of you or take a message. So, what do you want people to know? So you've got we have an infomercial. So
okay.
you tell the people Long Meadow. We already kind of told them what you do in terms of helping, and you're that conduit between the benefits and the veteran's family. So what do you want to tell them that they might not know if they haven't responded to the letter or that type of thing?
Well, basically, you have your municipal benefits, which is small. It's just basically if you're a disabled veteran, or I believe a spouse of a disabled veteran or a widow, you can get a tax abatement, and the amount depends on how disabled you are. Then there's the Massachusetts benefits, and it's a little bit more in depth. You get the Chapter 115, which helps people who are in financial need, as well as medical. Also helps find jobs, job placement, housing. If you're about to get evicted from your place of living, then there's one-time payments that could be made, along with helping you get the job and helping you collect that money that the state has. Then you have the federal government, which offers, it's like a black hole. I mean, they have tons and tons of stuff. So it's best to get enrolled in the VA healthcare system. That way you could get hooked up with the eligibility, and they could tell you pretty much everything.
Okay.
And then there's the Holyoke Soldiers Home. That's on a state level too, and that's good to be in to get your blue card. You get your blue card, you could do dental. They have dental clinic there, and it's at a cheaper rate than most places, depending on your income.
Okay, so most important thing, anybody in the town of Long Meadow that needs to know is that if you're in the military or were in the military, and if they're in the Marine, they're still technically a Marine. Right? I got that down. Okay.
Right.
So I'm trying to make up brownie points here, folks. So if you were in the military, family of someone who is in the military, and you have any question about anything. I mean, there's no stupid questions. There's no silly
Nothing
questions.
at all.
And you never know. So let me ask you this: you've had some people, I'm sure, contact you and walk away saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was available to me."
Oh yeah.
And there's for years they've been needing some help somewhere along the line.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they come in and their world changed. Right.
Yes.
Right. So that's why it's very important to understand, folks, that if you even think about whether or not there's a benefit, if you have someone that's your father and mother in the military, even if they don't live in Long Meadow, Jason's a resource that you can go in and ask him a question. I'm sure he would be willing to help and refer to the right area. So this is very important for our veterans to understand that the town's committed to making sure that they're going to get the benefits that they deserve,
right.
And that their families are going to get the benefits they deserve for the work that they put in, and we want to make sure that happens. So any questions whatsoever, make sure you contact Jason, contact the Select Board office, the Council on Aging, and he'll get back to you in one way, shape, or form. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. My father-in-law was in World War II in a troop transport. He was telling me a story one day. They had, they're eating their rations and so forth, and somehow someone came across a cow. So they couldn't get the cow on board the ship because it would have been their butts in a jam. So they actually traveled around the Pacific with the cow tied to the side of their ship. Okay. To find the perfect time to have steak for dinner one day. Okay. So what type of crazy thing can you share that happened to you or to your unit that can be on TV? That could be on TV.
Oh, jeez.
And if there's none, that's okay. We'll just turn the cameras off and have some laughs. But that's
oh, you're putting me on the spot here. I really don't have anything that doesn't have to do with individuals that I really don't want to.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't want you to.
About.
Yeah. But that was.
But we have got some animals and cooked them up and did our thing with them.
Yeah. Now, I have a friend of mine who lives in Long Meadow that was in Afghanistan, and talking about there's collections of foods and things like that that they sent over, and basically was saying that they lived off of the beef jerky and trail mix that people were sending. Yeah. Because of the MREs are fine, but after a while, it just doesn't do it for you type of thing.
Oh, that was gourmet for me. I didn't care. Yeah, was it? We didn't have any packages or anything like that because our packages were stuck on ship. So
Okay.
MREs were it.
We're at.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've had some of those. We've had a couple for my son. We've cooked up and stuff. Not bad.
Yeah,
Some
no,
of them
they're
are
not bad
very
at all.
good.
Yeah.
He had a nice jambalaya one that was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, you got to try the cold weather ones.
cold weather ones.
Oh yeah, they're a lot bigger. They got oatmeal in it. They got it's basically enough calories for a meal and a half because you only get 2 per day.
Okay. So when you're, again, without sharing anything in you see movies, about war and things like that, okay? And everything is always there. Even when they're bad and they're not showing the great side of the military, they're still glorified to a degree.
Right.
You never see someone who has to go to the bathroom, or has to, try
where
to,
they go.
yeah, where they go or how they go, whatever. And while you're you have bullets flying around you, you never see anybody, trying to have an MRE or something while all of a sudden being attacked or whatever.
Yeah.
So the stresses of real military, being in the military, real versus movies or TV has got to be tremendous. I mean, first of all, thank you for what you've done. I mean, I truly appreciate anybody who's gone there. I didn't, so
Right.
I really appreciate what especially in the volunteer service. I think that anybody who's going in, God bless them, and and they are doing God's work as far as I'm concerned. But it seems it's always glorified. Like I said, you don't see the poor guy who's trying to have a meal and then all of a sudden you got to leave it and go get one of your 2 meals of the day. And
that was the issue with sleep. We didn't get much sleep. Yeah, you could always find that 5 minutes to grab something and eat it real quick if you had to. But I mean, the worst part was not being able to sleep.
How do you adjust to that stuff? I mean,
adrenaline.
Yeah, just
you
pure
live off
adrenaline all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
No, and then when you crashed, how long did you go down for if you could do that?
Oh, when we got on ship on the way home, it was.
Did you wake up?
Yeah, we got a lot of sleep on ship.
Yeah.
Because we had to leave from, I think it was Greece to Spain, and that's where we met everybody, and our whole fleet went home. So it was like a good week, 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
So you guys, like you said, you patrol the world, and then they said the phone rings and you're off.
Yeah. See, the president doesn't have to go through Congress to send the Marines in, so you don't really hear about what's going on out there.
Did you know that before you joined the Marines?
No, I had no idea. But you know what? I didn't mind it because you practice, and when it's a real deal, it's something that you've practiced for. You want to get out there and you see what you got.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things we did off the books too.
Yeah. And now, are you in reserves, or you're just totally?
I'm totally out now. I am. Actually, I'm not going to get into that right now.
No. Okay. So no, you're not.
Some people don't know. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's fine. I had a good friend of mine who got. He tried to get out of the reserves just before the second Iraq War, and
oh really?
He worked on A-10s, and he had to go away for a while. So he.
See, I don't mind going away. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, he was about 58, so it was a little bit different.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't have a family, so.
Yeah. But all right, so. First of all, thank you for taking the time to sit with me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And again, I think this is extremely important for our town because I honest to goodness would never realize when you said you sent out letters, I would have 100, 200 at the top. So, when you said 1,500, I mean that's a third of our households in town. That's unbelievable. So again, thank you for what you did in the service, and thank you for being here, because I think the service you're going to provide here is going to be just as big a benefit to our community as what you did in the military, because these folks, for what they've done, they deserve to go out there and get what they've got. And so,
exactly, and that's what I preach. Right.
Excellent. So, folks, again, any questions whatsoever, military related, again, even if you have a family member elsewhere, you don't know where to turn to, call Jason. He's a resource here in town. He's more than willing to help, and I've heard from my end of it, just so you understand, nothing but good things. So I've had no complaints, which is good.
Yes, it is.
Because you probably threatened them like you did me, but that's fine. But it's a tough show here. People, I should get combat pay. See,
you should. Right? It's danger.
Being on the select board's the combat pay,
exactly.
especially in the supermarket. Oh my gosh. But I love it.
You gotta go out of totown.
Pardon?
You gotta go out of town.
Yeah, well, listen. When you're trying to go get a loaf of bread somewhere, and people said you go to 2 hours a week meetings, and but it's like 24/7. Just it's like being on active duty. Yeah, you're there. So, but it's fun. But again, in seriousness, anything military related, question about your family's benefits or your mother or father's benefits, grandparents, whatever, call Jason. More than willing to help and utilize the resource, because it's here for you. So thank you for watching the Upside. Thank you again, Jason, for coming on board. And Jason is a Marine, so thanks you for watching. We'll see you on the next show. Have a great day. you.